Hello and welcome to this week's BFM 89.9 Seconds. I'm Lynn, joined by Sharaad, Kuttan and Keith Kam. And of course, as always, we're giving you a little sample of this week's headlines in just under 90 seconds. Up today, we have Negaraku, Are We Racist? And Do Rapists Deserve an Easy End? Let's get going. Okay, no, just kidding. Because the reason why that happened was because, of course, the national anthem has been played in movie theatres from Merdeka onwards till Malaysia Day, to invoke patriotism. And now we might have to sit through it forever. Sharaad has some thoughts.
Well, FINES, the National Film Development Corporation, thinks it's a good idea to continue with this practice. I think it's an extraordinarily bad idea.
Why?
For several reasons. One, you can't make patriotism compulsory. You can't. These are gestures, and by forcing people to do it, you're actually just creating a kind of a fear that and people need to comply.
I don't think it's
not genuine.
How does our national anthem engender fear? It's a minute long, and I stand corrected. We don't have to sit through it; we have to stand through it, and that might be the larger problem.
And look, this is a practice in several capitals of the world. In the region, Thailand practices it with the King's Anthem. Myanmar has it. Even the Philippines, I know, the first film and the last film of the day has the national anthem. But people are not forced to stand up. And then what you see there is a variety of responses. But in Thailand, it's actually compulsory. And I fear that we are going to go down that road towards this kind of compulsory patriotism.
But Sharaad, it's just a minute plus. I mean, I'm sure all of us love the country enough to do something like this.
I don't know what this love the country means. I mean, all I do know is
I don't know if that was necessary. I just want to put that out there.
Quotes are always necessary, okay? Because we are being forced to do something. I mean, I think Samuel Johnson got it right.
So how would you
patriotism is the last refuge of the scoundrel.
How would you inculcate patriotism in this case if it's not this way?
Encourage critical thinking. I think that's what it is.
Early last week, a video was released on the Malay Mail Online, showcasing how Malaysians, we're not as racist as you think. Or are we, Keith?
Well, that's just it. We are racist. We are all racist. And I just don't agree. What I don't agree with is everyone basing this video opinions of, 20, 30 people and saying, woo, we're all not racist.
No, I think there's also the issue of the fact that, I don't know, when I watched that video, maybe I'm just cynical, but it just looks so planted. Who is going to say racist things, when you have cameras in front of you? Even we, faced with these cameras, aren't going to be saying really racist things.
Yeah, I think to be fair, right, I think things have been rather depressing in the country, and people were looking for something to cheer.
And did you feel uplifted by this?
Well, no, I mean, honestly, I haven't watched them. I don't care to watch them. It was a story that went viral, and perhaps the story is more interesting than the actual thing. But I think at the end of the day, we have to be fair to ourselves, right? We are, and do look at through the lens of race about everything. But are we racist? We're not Ku Klux Klan racist. We're not lynching each other.
No,
right?
but Sharaad and Lynn, we are racist. We are all racist at the core. It's just that, we just need to learn to embrace it, accept it with some humor rather than be offensive about it.
What are you crazy?
No, racism is not a good thing. Racism is not a good thing.
Okay, look, the best nasi lemak comes from this Malay makcik near my house. I'm not being racist or sexist. It's just a fact.
No, but that's not racism.
That's just using race as a descriptor.
Yeah.
No!
In Belgium this week, a convicted rapist and murderer successfully petitioned the court to allow him to have assisted suicide because he said he couldn't bear the unbearable suffering of prison. Now, here's the thing. I know that a lot of people are going to argue that this is problematic, and I agree. But there's also the fact that, a country's laws protect all its people, right? And he's part of that.
It's a joke that he should use the word unbearable suffering in this case and that the laws protect people. So what sort of suffering do you think his victims and his victims' family went through?
I hear you, but a lot of people commit violent crimes through mental diseases as well. Like you have sociopaths, not exactly a mental disease, but still a mental condition, and
that's exactly what's at stake here. I think the anguish is not that just that he's suffering in prison, but that he's suffering from impulses he cannot control. He tried to get treatment, he couldn't get adequate treatment to kind of end that impulse.
No, but is that a good enough reason to say that I could not get good enough treatment? Because that's one of the things that they're saying, that, you know, if we can provide our prisoners a certain amount of care, this shouldn't be allowed.
Well, I know what you're saying. I mean, I think a lot of people would agree with you, because it's very hard to feel empathy for a murderer and a rapist. But at the same time, I think prisons are not about punishing people and degrading them.
But do you think at some point you should ask his victims and his victims' families what they think about it?
Well, those who were killed are dead, and we can't ask them.
Yeah, I mean, his family, the families at least. But the thing is, what he's saying is, his argument here is that he cannot bear the unbearable suffering.
Yes, and
that itself has no. I just think that the government should go all Game of Thrones on his ass, and you know, just.
I think you should.
I'll euthanize him somewhere else.
Well,
I think we should.
And that is it from us this week on 89.9 Seconds. If you have any comments for us, please leave them in the box below. For more videos like this, subscribe to video.bfm.my, and for more 89.9 second bites of awesome, tune in next week. Thank you so much for watching.